Good morning and welcome to another video. I promised another one as a follow-up on my previous video where I told you about my experience in Iquitos during the ayahuasca ceremonies. Well, to continue that, I promised also to tell you more about my experience, and I can only talk about my experience, remember that, about the, I wouldn't say disappearance, but control of the ego and the appearance or the awakening of the I am, which you actually are. You are not the ego. Something that I realized the last 2 months, and it's already been 2 months since I've been at the ayahuasca retreat. The thing that I really realized is that we are in a constant battle for our own consciousness, meaning that our consciousness is being controlled by our egos. So when I'm sitting here like this talking to you, or when I'm out there doing stuff during a normal day, I'm functioning, I would say, through the ego, if I can explain it like that. My thoughts, my thinking, my actions, my doing is being controlled through the ego. And that I've realized the last 2 months. And the big battle for us is to take control back. And the only way we can take control back of our own lives is by awakening to who we truly are. And we are the I am, or the energy, or the breath, as the Old Testament describes it. There's many ways of describing it, but what happened is that the sacred divine energy that gives life to everything in this world, some people would call it God, some people would call it Brahma, or whatever name you call it, doesn't matter. It doesn't change what it is and how it functions. So it functions as a life-giving force that is in everything, also in us. So, and that binds everything together. And to take our place in this unity, it's like you are this finger and you have to play your role. But if you're not awake to the fact that you are part of the whole unity and that you are this finger and that this finger plays an important role in keeping this whole unity together, if you do not wake to that fact, then you are asleep and you are being controlled, as we all are, by the ego mind. Now, in my ayahuasca experience, I came to a point that night where I actually died. I literally died. And the ego couldn't control the situation. So the ego is actually a useless entity within us. And we create this ego since being little children to survive in a world that is focused, a system in this world that is focused on keeping the ego on the throne of your life. So in that moment of absolute lostness, of absolute letting go and deciding, okay, this is it, I'm dying now. The ego couldn't step in and save me. And that is one of the biggest awakenings in my life. There's a certain word that I call the ego these days, which I can't say on this video because it goes into the world. But the ego is a useless, you know what I mean. And I tell the ego every day, listen, don't try and control my life. The moment that I really needed you to step in and save me, you couldn't do it. Therefore, you are useless. And who stepped in? The I am came out. The I am stood in front of me. The I am put the hand on this body's chest and say, you're going to be okay. I am in control now, and I will get you through this. And that's the moment that we realize who we truly are. We are, you are, the hand on the chest saying and looking you in the eyes saying, you're going to be okay. So since that experience, 2 or 3 nights later with another ayahuasca ceremony, I didn't experience any I didn't experience any wow moment or any visions, and I was just lying there in my mind trying to work through what happened the past ceremonies. And then this fear got hold of me, and I just want to get out of there. I had this voice in my mind saying, get up, get yourself out of this. The Icarus song they were singing was an irritating sound in my ears. I wanted to run away. I wanted to just disappear and just put this behind me and say, this is it. That went on for 2 hours, that I was lying there fighting not to stand up and to run out. And when the ceremony ended, I went to the big hall where we had dinners and lunches and breakfasts, and I made me some tea, and I was just sitting there exhausted after this 2 hours of fighting. And another friend of mine that was there came in, and he sat there, and we just talked about our experience, and I shared with him what happened that night. And in the sharing, I realized what it was. It was an absolute brutal fighting back of the ego to stay in control and not to give the steering wheel of my life to the I am, to the breath. And by realizing that, because I have decided at that point, I'm not going to do, there was one ceremony left, I'm not going to do it. I can't put my body, I had all these excuses. My body can't take it. It's so much pain. It's so much exhaustion. It's so much emotional stuff. I just had enough. I just need to get away. That ego voice the whole time in my ear. Don't do this. Get away. Run away. By sharing that dawned upon me. I awoke to that fact that it was the ego. And the ego is constantly this useless thing that just can bring fear and just can bring, that anxiety of getting away and running away. And then things started to change. So I had the experience of the I am coming out twice. And I had the experience of the I am saving this body's life. And now I had the experience of the ego going all in, putting everything in to stay in control through fear and anxiety. And this whole thing of you can't do this, you need to run away, this is too much, you had enough, get away. And since that awakening, the fight, which is still continuing to this day, and I don't think it will ever stop in our human lives or our human experience. It will never stop because the ego wants to be on the throne of your life. And the ego controls your consciousness, as I said in the beginning. So every thought that comes up goes through the filter of the ego. And then the ego will tell you fear or no, it's okay, run away, no, stay, eat, or whatever the case may be. And to get the ego out of that position of power, is why we are here. And that's the life journey. Because the moment you get that, the moment you succeed in getting the ego away, out of the way, that is the moment the I am blooms. And you are just you. You are just this fantastic spiritual being on this human experience. The constant battle is continuing. But what I realized is that there's some stuff that comes up that I didn't realize before. One thing in particular is the control of time. Sometimes I would be in a meditation, doing my morning meditation, and it would feel like I've been in that meditation for like an hour. Deep, very productive, fantastic meditation. And then I come out of the meditation and check my watch, and it was 10 minutes. Sometimes I would sit there and I'd do a meditation and I would feel like, I just don't get there this morning. And I come out of the meditation and I look at my watch and an hour has been gone. It's just gone. I'm preparing to go somewhere. And when I look at my watch, 20 minutes is just gone. It's as if it's just been taken out of my life. This happens more and more, and I try now to focus on that and try to control it so that When I want time to pass quickly, I use it in that way. When I want time to pass slowly, I do that. So this morning, I went for a morning run. I've just returned from that. That's why I'm looking all sweaty and not very clean at this stage. And during the run, I realized, oh, I'm struggling. My body struggles. I'm tired. I need to take it slow this morning and just enjoy the experience. So I ran, and there's a track close to here where I am in Medellin, in Colombia. And I ran a couple of times around the track, and then I went into the streets again, and I did a circle route. And I came back, and I thought, okay, let me go onto the track and just finish the 7 kilometers. And when I put my foot on the track, my watch beeped, and I looked down and I saw 8 kilometers done. It was like, what the hell? Where did this extra kilometer came from? It's as if it was just added. It was just given, because that is what I aimed for, and I could just stop and walk around the track to cool down. So that is how it's happening these days in my life. So yesterday morning I sat down to work on the book that I'm writing, and when I looked up, 2 hours was gone, and I've done more than what I've done in 2 or 3 days the previous time. So time was speeding up, and although the experience was not as much and not a long time, what I went through, what this body went through, it's as if there's a more and more disconnection between the time of the I am and the bodily experience, the human experience of time. There's a discrepancy between these two. And my aim is to understand that in future and to use it to my benefit. When I need more time, slow time down. When I want time to pass quickly, speed time up. And we can do it. I've been doing it subconsciously for more than a month now. And that's quite a nice experience, because now the ego steps back and kind of say, okay, I'm not really that much in control. The I am takes over. And the I am time is quite different from the ego time, because ego is time-bound, earthly time-bound. The I am is timeless. So it's as if you're going to start switching between these two timelines, being time-bound and being timeless. And the time when you are timeless, time just passed quickly or slows down. And when you are time-bound, time is time, and you experience every second, and you won't get away from it. And by using the timelines, again, just my experience, I experienced that I could become more and more, or move into the I am state more and more, and become more and more awake of these two timelines, these two conscious levels within us, which is in a constant battle for control. So this is good and bad news. The good news is there's progress. The bad news is it's a constant battle, and that will go on for many, many times, many years probably. I don't know. As time goes by, this is a new experience. As time goes by, I experience more, I learn more, and I get more control, or I take more control of my own life. And that is the good news. For me, what works is constant battle against the control of the ego of my conscious mind. And I tell the ego constantly, get out of the way. You are useless. When I wanted to, and when I needed to depend on you, you ran away. You were not there. You threw in the towel. You are a useless thing. I won't use my name. And I tell the I am, which I am, I tell myself, I bow down to you. And this I've learned from a very good friend of mine. Rini told me, she doesn't know how to do it, but she just tells her higher self, I bow down to you. And I've learned that, and it works. I bow down to you, the I am, and I give you full control, and I trust you because you are who I truly am, and I want to be who I am actually. So, bowing down every day, telling the ego to get out of the way, is the path for me now. It is hard work. It is focusing. Some days I'm just not there. The ego's in full control, and I'm just the old Gert. It's just not a pretty picture. Some days the battle is full on, and I'm fighting. And some days, and I'm glad for those days because that gives me hope. Some days it just flows. I'm in control of time. I move between the two timelines, and I'm just content and happy. Watch out for my next video. I'm going to talk about the new book because the new book is actually flowing from all these experiences. It's a daily devotional book on the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, where these two Gospels focus on becoming the I am. It is fantastic. Don't miss it. What I will do is I will do a devotion in some of the videos that you can hear what it's about. And there's also fantastic news about my movements here in South America. I'm still here in Colombia, in Medellin, for 3 weeks. And then I'm moving on to a very, very exciting place of peace and quiet and tranquility. But I will tell you more about that in the next video. Stay well and be blessed.